On a quiet night, an angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph the carpenter in a dream with an urgent message. "Arise, take the young child and his mother, flee to Egypt and stay there until I tell you, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him." Herod feared who the child would become and had decided to kill him. Without waiting for morning, Joseph carried the child. Mary walked beside him, and their flight began. In the silence of the night, a holy journey commenced as the Holy Family fled from evil. They traveled roughly 150 to 170 kilometers from Bethlehem to the eastern borders of Egypt, walking on foot and occasionally using a donkey across the harsh desert. After many long days, they safely entered Egypt through Rafah, escaping Herod's threat and fulfilling the prophecy, "Out of Egypt I called my son." The family journeyed through northern Sinai to Pelusium, Al-Farma, and then to Tel Basta in the Nile Delta. According to church tradition, when baby Jesus arrived, the pagan idols fell, symbolizing the collapse of pagan authority before the incarnate God. Continuing for about 25 kilometers, they reached Mostafa. Here, the Virgin Mary stopped to wash the child's clothes, and a spring of fresh water miraculously gushed forth. This spring still exists today, and the site was named Al-Mahama, the place of washing. They later arrived in Belbis, where an exhausted Mary rested under a tree. A church was later built on this exact spot. Heading north to Samanud, the city's people hosted them. Mary baked bread, and tradition holds that the dough miraculously never depleted. A stone vessel from this event remains preserved in Samanud's church.
The family then passed through the arid desert of Wadi el-Natron. The passing of the child Jesus transformed this barren land into what would centuries later become the greatest center for monasticism in the world, inhabited by thousands of monks.
Traveling south towards Cairo, they crossed the Nile to the eastern bank in the Mataria area. Seeking refuge from danger, they hid inside a tree that miraculously split open to embrace them. A spring of balsam water, later used to make the holy myron oil, gushed out next to it. They then arrived in Old Cairo, an essential stop where they stayed briefly in an underground cave while fleeing the wrath of a local governor angered by the falling idols. The church of Abu Surga was later built over this very cave. Heading south, they reached the Maadi area. From the location where the Church of the Virgin Mary now stands, they crossed the Nile using simple wooden sailboats towards Upper Egypt. On March 12, 1976, people in the Church of El Mawadi saw a Bible floating on the surface of the water of the Nile, and it was open on the book of Isaiah, chapter 19. "Blessed be my people, Egypt." Now the Bible is inside the church. Going back to the journey of the Holy Family, their journey took them to Magaga, Banasa, and then Samalut. Crossing the Nile to the east, they passed Gabal Altair. As a massive rock threatened to fall on them from the mountain, baby Jesus stretched out his hand and stopped it. His handprint remains visible on the rock today. They crossed back to the western bank towards Ashmunin, blessing the town where many miracles occurred. After passing through Deirut al-Sharif, they reached the village of Kushkam. When the village's main idol was destroyed upon their arrival, the angry residents drove them out. They fled to Mir, where the locals welcomed and honored them. There, they found a field and asked its owner if they could rest for a while. The man welcomed them kindly. The Virgin Mary told him that they were fleeing from Herod, who was seeking the young child to destroy him. Then she pointed to the watermelon seeds he had stored and said, "Plant these seeds today, and by the power of my beloved Son, Jesus Christ, tomorrow you will see your field filled with large watermelons." She also told him, "When Herod's men come tomorrow and ask about us, tell them that this family passed by while you were planting this watermelon field." The man did as she said. The next morning, he found the whole field filled with beautiful, ripe watermelons. He was amazed and thanked God. When Herod's soldiers arrived and asked about the Holy Family, the man answered, "They passed by when I was planting this watermelon field." Hearing this, the soldiers thought the family must have passed through months earlier, so they turned away. And so, in the village of Mayer, God worked a simple but powerful miracle to protect the Holy Family on their journey.
Finally, they reached the Al-Muharraq monastery in Asyut, where they stayed for their longest period in Egypt, 6 months and 10 days. In this blessed place, an angel appeared to Joseph, declaring that Herod was dead and it was time to return to Israel. The cave they stayed in later became an altar for the ancient Church of the Virgin Mary. Its stone altar is considered one of the oldest in the Christian world, made from the very stone where Christ sat. On their journey back, they took a slightly southern route towards Mount Dronka, blessing it as well. A monastery named after the Virgin Mary was built there. They returned by nearly the same path they originally took, leaving behind an Egypt forever changed, as it had welcomed God Himself.